This is Captain PLT from One Ping Only Radar. I've been waiting to do a podcast on this for a while. It's been something I've been watching for a while, for at least 10 years. And I think it's very important that we all become aware of this and start to talk about the truth of what's going on, and especially what young men need today, and young females, but let's concentrate on the men right now. And the title of this podcast is called Beyond the Manosphere in a Jezebel World. There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes the world didn't break him. It just tried to corrupt him. His whole life was based on freedom, fairness, and respect, and thought that's how everybody else played the game, including the laws. Then reality set in. You learn how free you aren't when you hit divorce court. This has been the trigger to the young man's attraction to the manosphere. Fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins, friends, etc. all had the same experience in general in divorce court. And so did I. The lawyers, 90% of them, and the government endorses what goes on there, and it's not good for men. Men don't realize the law incentivizes the women to break the marriage covenant until it's too late. Women know this, and when men want to escape the Jezebel spirit, they weaponize it and destroy the man, even if they are the ones cheating and abusing, and then get rewarded. But there is a solution, and we will get to that. Walking away isn't enough. You have to rise. You have to release. You have to forgive the poison. You have to replace bitter with better. Because when a man forgives without surrendering his boundaries, when he lets go without losing himself, when he chooses light over bitterness, he becomes sovereign. Men in the manosphere talk about walking away. MGTOW talks about choosing sovereignty. They point out the simp industrial complex, beta male orbiters, OnlyFans addiction, prostitution, gynocentrism, misogyny cycles, the female construct economy, Chad, Tyrone, and Becky, passport bros, the wall, social market value collapse, blue pill conditioning, red pill reactionism, black pill fatalism, cucks, Jezebel patterns, simps, divorce rape, false teachers. These are all symptoms, not solutions. And before we go any further, let me make one thing clear. When I say we're living in a Jezebel world, I'm not saying every woman is Jezebel. I'm saying the system is Jezebelized, meaning the cultural operating system rewards the traits Jezebel embodied: manipulation, inversion of order, weaponized sexuality, emotional domination, male character assassination, and dethroning of the male spiritual authority. This isn't about blaming individuals. It's about naming the spiritual pattern that shapes modern culture, so men can rise above it. Jesus gave the blueprint that men forgot. Long before any manosphere doctrine, Jesus himself showed men the path. Not the soft, sanitized version, the real Jesus. Set hard boundaries, walked away from crowds, denied access to people who drained him, forgave freely, did not grant access to everyone in proximity. Forgiveness is clarity. Forgiveness is release. Forgiveness is saying, you no longer have power over me, but you no longer have access to me either. That's not bitterness. That's stewardship. And stewardship is masculine. You know, there's a thing called forgiveness with boundaries. Walking away isn't enough. You have to heal. You have to forgive. You have to release the poison so it doesn't follow you into your next season. Because if you don't forgive, you're not sovereign. You're still chained to the person who hurt you. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is not re-entry. Forgiveness is not pretending it didn't happen. Forgiveness is simply, I refuse to let your toxicity shape the man I become. Think about that. Jesus modeled this. He forgave the thief on the cross, but he didn't invite him into his inner circle. He forgave the Pharisees, but he didn't let them dictate his mission. He forgave Judas, but didn't stop the consequences. Forgiveness without boundaries is self-destruction. Forgiveness with boundaries is spiritual maturity. And I think this is what men need to hear. You can forgive your ex and still block her. You can forgive your mother and learn what you won't tolerate. You can forgive your father and refuse to repeat his patterns. You can forgive your friends and walk alone for a season. You can forgive toxic people and deny them access to your life, your peace, your mission. That's not Manosphere. That's not psychology. That's Jesus. In the time to come, we have to name the darkness without hate. Men are hurting, not because they're weak, but because the systems around them were never built to protect their hearts, only to take advantage of their backs. You can expose the system without hating the people in it. So how do you expose the evil ones? You name the behaviors, not the identities. You name the patterns, not the groups. You name corruption, not demographics. You call out weaponized laws, manipulative tactics, systems that reward betrayal, courts that punish fathers, emotional exploitation, spiritual rot, people who use the law as a sword instead of a shield. This is not hate. This is truth. Truth is rescue. In this, I call this the Batman doctrine. Release, not revenge. There's a scene in Batman Begins where he's fighting with Ra's al Ghul on the train. And he says to him, before the train is about to crash, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you. That's release. That's handing them to God, because it's only God that saves, because you're not God. And I'll say it again, only God saves. This is how you stop letting anything rent space in your head or your heart. That's what killed King Solomon. He let poison live inside of him because he was surrounded by it. Walking away isn't enough. You have to heal. You have to forgive. You have to replace bitter with better, because bitterness is bondage wearing armor. Forgiveness is freedom. Boundaries are wisdom. Letting go is obedience. Becoming better, not bitter, is how man steps into his next season without carrying yesterday's chains. You're not turning a blind eye. You're not sugarcoating darkness. You're not preaching hate. You're naming the shadows so men could walk into the light. You're standing for truth. And when a man stands for truth long enough, people naturally follow. This is how you build a movement, not a campaign. A movement of men rising. And this is what we need to do for all of us, especially the older men teaching the younger men this kind of wisdom. Men who forgive without surrendering their boundaries. Men who walk away without running away. Men who release without becoming bitter. Men who give toxic people to God. Men who rise into the light. These are the forged men. These are the men who will rebuild families, communities, futures, and the world. These are the men who walk into the next season sovereign.